I was so sucked into it at the start, I had to work really hard to solve some major issues so that I could be free from those problems and then help and support my employees. This is episode 4 of the Lean Donut Shop, where I am sharing my greatest lessons learned from a lean viewpoint on my very last shift, literally minutes before I walked out the door. And in this episode, I'm talking about the need to elevate the value of leaders. Leaders have to lead. And if there's not enough leadership capacity in your organization, you will fail with lean, because the people doing the work, associates who are adding value to the work, they need support. And unless you've got people who can offer that support, you're just not going to get far. A lot of organizations either A, get their leaders sucked into production so much that they just don't have the bandwidth to properly support initiatives like lean, or B, you might actually need more leaders. And there's a way to do that. So here's what I had to say about it regarding this challenge of leading and increasing my capacity as a leader at the Lean Donut Shop. All right, so this is the next idea. I'm gonna break it up. You've got to free up your leadership. Here's what I mean. Where do you get started? How do you do lean? You know, when we started here, it was utter chaos. There was so much work, and I was sucked into all of it. And I don't have a formula. I don't know if anybody does, but you've got to work freaking hard to get rid of enough waste to set free some true leadership. You got to have leaders that at least a hefty percent and portion of their time are not sucked into production and rather can support production activities, not buried deeply in their computer, but for one, solving problems, yes, but to developing the problem-solving capabilities of every other employee. I was so sucked into it at the start, I had to work really hard to solve some major issues so that I could be free from those problems and then help and support my employees. And in fact, I couldn't teach and train them because there was so much instability in the business. I had to get stability of a few things, otherwise it would just all fall apart. And I would be doing a disservice to my employees to try and teach and train them certain things and unlock their brains when there's things as basic as, hey, our recipes are chicken scratch on the wall. Couldn't we clarify them so that we know how to follow them and get them documented a little bit better? Or, hey, we ran out of inventory because we haven't fully decided, what product, what brand, what pack size, what supplier, how often we get it, where to put it on the shelf, things like that, So I think that it's an obligation of management to solve some of those bigger boulders of problems and get them out of the way so that you can breathe a little bit and help and develop, people, your employees. There's some foundation stuff there that has to get done, and I took it upon myself to work super hard to get those things out of the way so that then I could take the organization further. So what are some of those things? Let's talk about that next. A key feature of effective leadership is consistency. And so if there's instability in the business that is compromising the ability of leaders, perhaps even you, to lead consistently, you've got to deal with those issues. Otherwise, you could have a false start with lean. To make growing leaders easier, go to the Lean Smarts Academy, where you can learn to see the problems that are hiding in plain sight and take those blinders off so that you can see waste and see instability and have tools to get it out of the way.